everyone, greeting you all from our studio in Central Jakarta. Welcome again to House News. Parliamentary diplomacy as well as the latest information coming from the House of Representatives of Indonesia, all that can be watched in today's episode. So now let's have a look at our headlines for today. Over 65 years of diplomatic relations, Indonesia and Cuba have built diverse partnership. As part of this ongoing cooperation, BKSAP of the House explored opportunities to strengthen collaborations. BKSAP of the House held a courtesy call with the ambassador of Belarus to Indonesia. The meeting focused on fostering bilateral relations between the two countries. With its strategic location in North Africa, Tunisia can be a trade hub for Indonesian products. Commission 1 promotes cooperation in halal products, pharmaceuticals, textiles, and the creative industry. Leadership of the House demands transparency from the Malaysian authority regarding the shooting incidents involving Indonesian migrant workers in Malaysia. After the stunning release of the home jersey a while ago, the Indonesian national team has once again surprised us with the launch of their new away jersey. BKSAP of the House received a courtesy call from the Cuban ambassador. During the meeting, both sides reaffirmed strong commitment to strengthening relations in education, research, and technology. Indonesia and Cuba celebrate 65 years of diplomatic relations with a commitment to fostering cooperation in various sectors. This commitment is strengthened by shared membership in the non-aligned movement and partnership in the BRICS organization. Vice Chairperson of BKSAP of the House, Irin Yusiana Roba Putri, emphasized human resource development through education and research is a top priority for both countries. During the meeting, Cuban representatives offered scholarship in health education. BKSAP warmly welcomed this initiative because Cuba has strong expertise in this area.
Ada beberapa poin potensial yang saya rasa bisa kita teruskan, yaitu adalah kerjasama di bidang pendidikan dan juga teknologi serta research, di mana kita tahu bahwa Kuba hari ini memiliki teknologi kesehatan yang sangat maju, tetapi memang kita terhalang dengan beberapa perjanjian, baik itu region ataupun beberapa kondisi yang terkait Kuba yang kita memang tidak bisa langsung bekerja sama secara langsung direct kerjasama gitu, sehingga tadi juga kita membahas bagaimana kita bisa mencari solusi bersama. Dan saya pikir tadi yang ditawarkan oleh Kuba kepada Indonesia adalah bentuk keseriusan Kuba untuk menjaga relasi dengan kita Indonesia, dan saya pikir bukan sesuatu yang kecil ya, karena bagaimana Kuba juga menawarkan beasiswa pendidikan untuk kesehatan, dan itu harusnya kita sambut baik gitu.
Furthermore, Irin hopes BKSAP can be a bridge for both countries and promote mutually beneficial cooperations. Adila Entedi, TVA Parliament Report. Chairperson of BKSAP of the House welcomes the Belarusian ambassador to Indonesia. The meeting explored various strategic cooperation opportunities to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Chairperson of BKSAP of the House Mardani Alisera mentions Belarus experienced significant economic growth of 4%. He believes strengthening bilateral cooperation could impact Indonesia's economic growth, especially in energy, agriculture, education, and health sectors.
Mereka kuat di potasium untuk bahan baku pupuk yang kita sangat perlukan. Mereka juga kuat di tadi dibilang mereka itu landlocked gitu loh. Negaranya nggak punya laut, tapi fishing industrinya itu berkembang ya, sehingga bahkan mereka nuklirnya itu luar biasa. Bahkan manajemen nuklir mereka, karena dulu sempat tahun 86 kena Chernobyl, mereka bagus. Jadi tadi tuh kita menemukan ada setidaknya 4 bidang kolaborasi yang bisa dikerjakan antara kita dengan Belarusia. Mulai dari energi, pertanian, tadi perikanan, sampai kepada pendidikan dan kesehatan. Nah, mereka di antara yang cukup sangat, saya menyebutnya sangat simpatik Nah, mereka pengen jadi teman Indonesia.
Furthermore, Mardani pointed out the need to create a friendship group to speed up cooperation opportunities between the two countries and further explore key partnership possibilities. Dodi Muharam, TVA Parliament Report. Commission 1 of the House welcomed a visit from the Tunisian ambassador to Indonesia. The meeting talks about bilateral issues including education, trade, and political support for Palestine independence. Chairpersons of Commission 1 of the House, Utut Adianto, hopes the 65-year bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Tunisia remains strong, especially in trade, education, health, and tourism. He highlighted Tunisia's commitment to strengthening educational cooperations by offering scholarship for Indonesian students who plans to continue their studies in Tunisia.
Ada MOU di bidang perdagangan, pendidikan, kesehatan, dan juga termasuk Tunisia wisatawannya 10.000 yang ke Indonesia, Indonesia baru 1.000. Mereka membuka pintu sejak tahun lalu, tidak perlu visa. Mudah-mudahan orang kita yang memang berdharma wisata atau menjadi turis tidak hanya selalu ke Eropa, tapi juga ke North Africa, terutama Tunisia.
Meanwhile, Tunisian ambassador to Indonesia, Mohamed Trabelsi, hopes the two countries can enhance bilateral ties in economic, trade, and tourism sectors.
First of all, we got the great support of Mr. Chairman and all the parliamentary members that they will boost our activities on all the level, economic, cultural, because our bilateral relations are deeply rooted in the history since the time of the President Sukarno.
Samuel and Ridwan, TVA Parliament Report. We still have more interesting information only for you. Stay tuned to House News. Vice Speaker of the House condemned the shooting of Indonesian citizens by a Malaysian police officer, causing 1 death and 4 injuries. He also urges the Malaysian government to take full responsibility for the incident. Vice Speaker for People's Welfare, Cucun Ahmad Syamsu Rizal, emphasizes the need for communications between the Indonesian and Malaysian governments to get accurate information about the incident. He urges the Ministry of Migrant Worker Protections and the Ministry of Human Rights to take part in handling the case.
Jadi tidak dibenarkan ya siapapun tentang bagaimana melakukan arogansi dengan alat apapun, alat negara, baik di pemerintahan kita maupun pemerintahan negara tetangga. Nah, kalau misalkan terjadian seperti ini, pemerintah kita harus segera melakukan komunikasi, diplomasi dengan pemerintah tetangga itu dengan Malaysia. Ini lakukan penyidikan dan kita terlibat di sana. Jangan sampai apa yang diomongkan oleh kepolisian Malaysia dengan fakta sebenarnya ini malah nanti masyarakat kita tidak ada yang mengambil kasih. Akhirnya DPR dengan tim pengawas pekerja migran, kemudian juga Satker yang ada di kita di Komisi 9 melakukan evaluasi dengan Kementerian Pekerjaan Migran supaya di depan.
Moreover, Cucun Ahmad asked the government to protect human rights and provide legal assistance to Indonesian citizens facing legal issues abroad. Nurbani Yusuf, TVA Parliament reports. Commission 13 of the House will strengthen the institution of Commission on Violence Against Women, as it plays an important role in addressing gender-based violence and promoting women's rights. Chairpersons of Commission 13 of the House, Willy Aditya, mentioned Commission on Violence Against Women plays an important role in monitoring and promoting public and government policies. Willy added the House supports the commissions in becoming an independent working unit. This will make the institution run the program optimally with financial autonomy.
Seksual ini. Jadi secara eksistensi sudah ada, payung hukum sudah ada. Maka kemudian rapat audiensi pada hari ini mendorong untuk kemudian Komnas Perempuan punya Satker sendiri, punya mitra kerja DPR yang secara direct tidak lagi di bawah Komnas HAM atau menjadi bagian dari Komnas HAM, tapi memang mereka kan terpisah gitu. Sehingga fokus pendalaman isu, ruang lingkup kerja itu bisa jauh lebih dalam dan fokus. Itu yang kemudian menjadi catatan kami, dan pada rapat berikutnya Komnas HAM ketika rapat kerja dan RDP juga akan menyertakan mereka. Itu poin pentingnya.
In addition, Willy reminded the bylaws of the sexual violence crime law have not been completed. Therefore, he urged for a positive narrative to increase protection for victims. Helmi Darmawan, TVA Parliament reports. Bank Indonesia reported loans given to MSMEs only grew by 3% compared to the previous year. Responding to this, Commission 11 asked the Financial Services Authority to improve access to financing for MSMEs. Vice Chairperson of Commission 11 of the House, Muhammad Hekal, highlights MSMEs play an important role in supporting national economic growth. Therefore, they need access to loan distributions to support their development. The new regulations of OJK to ease MSMEs financing must focus on quality and support national development objectives. Easier access to financing will help MSMEs avoid illegal online lending with high interest rates.
Keluhannya kan selalu aksesibilitas, makanya kita meminta supaya aksesnya ini ditingkatkan. Hari ini dilaporkan bahwa sudah banyak penerbitan POJK baru supaya mempermudah, tapi kan yang kita harapkan adalah supaya bukan hanya sekedar mempermudah, tapi mempermudah yang berkualitas, supaya juga sejalan dengan target-target Astacita. Misalnya peningkatan wirausaha, pembangunan dari desa, dan peningkatan secara keseluruhan lah, supaya lapangan pekerjaan bisa terus tercipta, dan juga kita bisa menyelamatkan pelaku-pelaku usaha kita dari suku bunga yang terlalu tinggi, dari pinjaman-pinjaman yang apalagi yang ilegal ya, dan dari kegiatan-kegiatan yang sudah kita lihat ingin diberantas oleh Pak Prabowo, yaitu seperti judi online dan pinjaman online yang tidak bertanggung jawab.
In addition, Muhammad Hekal appreciates OJK's financial literacy programs. However, he urges more structured roadmap to enhance synergy among financial sector stakeholders. From Central Java, Bari Ramadana, TVA Parliament reports. Indonesia 2025 away jersey has just been released. Make sure to stay with us right here on Leon House News. Indonesian national football team has officially released its latest jersey for the upcoming third round of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Embracing the Team Indonesia the heritage, this new design reflects the cultural beauty of Indonesia. Jakarta-based sportswear company Airspo has released the Indonesia national football team 2025 away kit. This is Airpo's second collaborations with the national team after designing the jersey in 2024. The new kit, characterized by its classic yet modern design, will debut during the March FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Australia and Bahrain. Under the guidance of legendary Netherlands striker Patrick Kluivert, who now manages the team, the release adds excitement to Indonesia's ongoing journey in international football. One of the most noticeable differences is the color design. For the first time in history, Indonesia's away shirt is black and white, a gray pattern incorporating the Garuda flow across the shoulders and sleeve, adding cultural significance to the design. The shorts remain white, with black stripes at the bottom. The complete away uniform includes gray socks. The design maintaining clean lines while incorporating traditional elements, reflecting Indonesia football heritage through modern sportswear design. The kits are available to purchase now on the Airspo website and select retailers. The Indonesian national team's new away shirt with its sleek, elegant, and beautiful design is intended to offer both style and luck as the Garuda squad competes for a positions in the 2026 World Cup. Indonesian young surfer has claimed a historic win in the Philippines, becoming the first Indonesians to not only win the World Junior Championship, but win any surfing world title. Indonesian young surfer Branson Mady won the World Surf League 2024 World Junior Championship held in San Juan, La Union, the Philippines. In the final, Branson scored a total of 18.80, defeating his main rival, Winter Vincent from Australia. Mady now celebrates the biggest event of his life and books a spot on the 2025 Challenger Series for his efforts. Branson comes from Leki Peak, Sumbawa, a place known for its powerful waves. From a young age, he showed great talent in surfing and grew even stronger under the guidance of Indonesian surfing legend Rizal Tanjung. In 2018, Rizal took him to Bali for more intensive training, helped refine his skills and prepare him for international competitions. Leki Peak is no longer a fishing village. It has become one of the world's best surfing destinations. With its beautiful scenery and challenging waves, the beach attracts surfers from all over the world. With this win, Branson Mady has not only made his country proud, but also strengthened Indonesia's positions in the world of professional surfing. Many hope that his success will pave the way for more young Indonesian surfers to shine on the international stage. Every stadium has its own story, unique features, and special atmosphere. More than just a place for matches, stadiums are symbols of pride for sport fans everywhere. Now we'll take a look at most iconic stadium around the world. TicketGum has carefully evaluated multiple variables to bring you the versions of the finals football stadiums worldwide. The criteria include seating capacity, average goals created, monthly average supporters, Google reviews, global stadium searches, and social media attention. At the top of the list is Old Trafford in England, also known as the Theatre of Dreams. This legendary stadium is home to Manchester United and has witnessed many historic moments in English football. What makes Old Trafford special is its electrifying atmosphere and deep-rooted history, making it a dream venue for football lovers. Next on the list is Gelora Bung Karno or GBK, Indonesia's pride. With a seating capacity of more than 70,000, GBK is more than just a venue for major sporting events. It represents nationalism and the pride of the Indonesian people. The modern renovations for the 2018 Asian Games further enhance its look, placing it among the world's top stadiums. Another famous stadium on the list is Santiago Bernabeu in Spain, the home of Real Madrid. The stadium has hosted many legendary matches and continues to impress with its latest renovations. The rich history and incredible atmosphere make Santiago Bernabeu a must-visit destination for football fans. And that information wraps up our house news for today. I'm Reni Menario and all the crew. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.